Admiral Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of the hidden space station, watching the stars through the massive window. His gray hair showed his 50 years of life, but his eyes burned with the fire of a much younger man. Around him, officers moved, quietly, checking their computers and screens. Nobody spoke loudly. Everyone knew what was coming. The message from Earth had arrived 3 hours ago. The alien empires had made their final demand. Humanity must give up their freedom and become slaves to the Galactic Coalition. They had 7 days to answer. Lee Hyun had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. While the aliens thought humans were weak and stupid, he had been building something they could never imagine. Hidden in the dark spaces between stars, humanity had created the most powerful fleet the galaxy had ever seen. "Sir," called Captain Park Soo from across the bridge. The young man's face was serious. "All fleet commanders are ready for the meeting." Lee Hyun nodded. "Connect them all." The main screen lit up with dozens of faces, ship captains, station commanders, and fleet leaders from across human space. Some were hidden in asteroid fields, others floated in the empty space between solar systems. All of them had been waiting for this day. "Friends," Lee Hyun began, his voice calm but strong. "Today the Coalition showed their true face. They demand we surrender everything, our worlds, our freedom, our future. They think we are weak." He paused, looking at each face on the screen. These men and women had given their lives to this secret project. They had built ships in hidden places, trained crews in empty space, and kept the greatest secret in human history. "They are wrong," Lee Hyun continued. "Today we show them what humanity really is." On Earth, Ambassador Choi Min-ho sat in his office, reading the Coalition's message again. The alien words were clear and cold. Humanity had 7 days to accept complete surrender, or the 7 great empires would destroy every human world. Choi Min-ho had been Earth's voice to the aliens for 10 years. He spoke their languages, understood their customs, and smiled at their insults. But he also sent secret messages to Admiral Lee Hyun. Every alien ship movement, every new weapon, every political change, all of it went to the hidden fleet. The door to his office opened. Dr. Kim Yuna walked in, her lab coat still dirty from work. She looked tired but excited. "It's done," she said simply. "The quantum tunneling weapons are ready." Choi Min-ho felt his heart race. For 5 years, Dr. Kim had been working on the impossible. The aliens had energy shields that could stop any normal weapon. But Kim Yuna had found a way around them. Her weapons didn't hit the shields at all. They went through space itself to strike the ships directly. "How many do we have?" he asked. "Enough," Kim Yuna said with a small smile. "More than enough." In the military headquarters on Earth, General Kang Doyen studied the reports from her spies. The alien fleets were moving. 7 great armadas from 7 different empires, all heading toward human space. The Vorthak with their crystal ships that cut through space like knives. The Kalari with their living ships that moved like hunting animals. The Draxan with their red warships that had conquered 100 worlds. The others too. The mind-reading Etherians, the robot Nexus Collective, the water-breathing Thalassans, and the energy beings called Luminari. All of them coming to end humanity's story. General Kang had once thought Admiral Lee Hyun was crazy. Building a secret fleet seemed impossible. But as the alien threats grew stronger, she began to understand. The only way to save humanity was to become something the aliens never expected. She opened her communication device and sent a coded message to the hidden fleet. "Green light. All forces ready." Far from Earth, in a place where no stars shined, the human fleet waited. Ships larger than cities floated in perfect silence. The indomitable, Admiral Lee Hyun's flagship, was 3 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy entire planets. Around it, hundreds of other ships waited in the darkness. Captain Park Soo walked through the halls of the Indomitable, checking on his crew. In the weapon rooms, soldiers loaded the new quantum tunneling missiles. In the fighter bays, pilots prepared their small, fast ships. In the engine rooms, Engineers made sure everything was perfect. "Captain," called Commander Bei Jiwan over the communication system. "My scout ships report all alien fleets are moving as expected. They think they're hunting sheep." Park Su smiled grimly. Bei Jiwan had been watching the aliens for years with invisible spy ships. She knew every alien captain, every ship design, every battle plan. The aliens had no secrets from humanity. "Soon they'll learn the truth," Park Su replied. On the Vorthak homeworld, Fleet Master Kitharon prepared his crystal ships for war. The Vorthak were proud of their beautiful vessels that looked like living diamonds. They had never lost a major battle in their 1,000-year history. "The humans will surrender when they see our fleet," Kitharon told his officers. "They are a young race. They know nothing of real war." Similar conversations happened on 6 other worlds. The Kalari Hive Queen sent her bio ships toward human space. The Draxan War Chief launched his red destroyers. Each empire was sure this would be an easy victory. They had fought each other for centuries, in ritual battles with complex rules. They understood honor and tradition in war. What they didn't understand was human desperation and human creativity. Dr. Kim Yuna stood in her secret laboratory, looking at her greatest creation. The quantum tunneling torpedo looked simple, just a metal tube with strange markings. But inside, it was technology that broke the normal rules of space and time. 10 years of work, she said to her assistant, Dr. An Jiho. 10 years of wondering if it would really work. "The tests were perfect," An Jiho reminded her. "It goes through any shield like it's not there." Kim Yuna nodded, but her mind was already on the next problem. The aliens had other defenses besides shields. They had thick armor, healing systems, and backup computers. Her weapons could hit them, but winning the war would take more than just new technology. That was why Admiral Lee Hyun's plan was so important. It wasn't just about having better weapons. It was about fighting in a way the aliens could never expect. Back on the hidden station, Lee Hyun met with his closest advisors. Captain Park Su, Commander Bei Jiwan, General Kang Doyen, and others sat around a metal table. The room was simple and cold, but the people in it held humanity's future in their hands. "The alien fleets will reach our border worlds in 3 days," Bei Jiwan reported. 7 separate attack forces, just like we predicted. "Perfect," Lee Hyun said. "They still think like the old days. Big fleets, straight attacks, simple tactics." General Kang opened a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red marks showed where alien fleets were moving. Blue marks showed hidden human forces. "We have ships positioned around every alien homeworld," she explained. "When they attack us, we attack them. But not just their fleets, their home planets, their supply lines, their command centers." Park Su studied the display. "It's risky. If we fail, they'll destroy Earth before we can regroup. If we don't try, they'll destroy Earth anyway," Lee Hyun replied. "But slowly, after making us watch, our people suffer." The room was quiet for a moment. Everyone knew the stakes. This wasn't just about winning a war. This was about whether humanity would survive as a free species. "There's something else," Lee Hyun continued. "We're not just fighting to win. We're fighting to change everything. The galaxy has been ruled by these empires for too long. They've stopped growing, stopped learning, stopped dreaming of something better." He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human ships moved in the darkness, like sleeping giants. "We're going to show them that there's another way, that the universe is big enough for all of us to succeed together." Dr. Kim Yuna's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, all weapon systems are loaded and ready. Every ship has the new torpedoes." "Thank you, Doctor," Lee Hyun replied. "How long until we can begin?" "Whenever you give the order, sir." Lee Hyun looked at his officers. These people had given everything for this moment. They had worked in secret, lived in hiding, and risked their lives to build something impossible. "Send the message to all ship," he ordered. "In 48 hours we change the galaxy forever." As the message went out to the hidden fleet, thousands of humans prepared for the greatest battle in their history. They checked their weapons one more time. They said goodbye to family members in coded messages. They looked at pictures of Earth and remembered what they were fighting for. The aliens were still coming, sure of their victory. They had better technology, more experience, and larger armies. But they had made one crucial mistake. They had forgotten that the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. In the darkness between stars, humanity's massive warships waited for their moment. Soon, the night would fall on the old galaxy, and something new would rise from its ashes. The storm was gathering, and Admiral Li Hyun was ready to unleash it. The first alien ships arrived at the edge of human space exactly when Commander Bei Jiwon's scouts said they would. Fleetmaster Kitharon's crystal ships came out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, their diamond hulls catching the light of distant stars. Kitharon stood on his bridge, confident and proud. Behind him, 300 Vorthak ships spread across space like a cloud of jewels. Each ship was a work of art, grown from living crystal over many years. Their energy shields glowed with soft blue light. "Scan for human defenses," Kitharon ordered his officers. The crystal beings worked at their stations, their bodies reflecting light in beautiful patterns. After several minutes, they reported back. "No major ships detected, Fleetmaster. Only a few small patrol vessels and some space stations around the outer planets." Kitharon nodded, pleased but not surprised. "Begin the attack. Destroy the stations first, then move toward the inner worlds." The Vorthak fleet moved forward, weapons charging. Their plasma cannons could melt through the strongest metals. Their shields had never been broken by any weapon. But as they approached the first human station, something impossible happened. Space itself seemed to tear open around them. Massive shapes appeared from nowhere. Ships longer than Vorthak cities, darker than the space between stars. The human fleet had been waiting, invisible and silent. "Impossible," Kitharon shouted. "Where did they come from?" His sensors officer's crystal body was flashing with panic colors. "Fleetmaster, I'm reading over 200 large vessels. No, 300. The numbers keep growing." The human ships were still appearing, coming out of hiding places the Vorthak had never imagined. Some had been hidden inside hollow asteroids. Others had been floating in the shadows of gas giant planets. The largest ones had been disguised as space debris, covered with fake metal to hide their true shape. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Park Soo watched the alien fleet with calm eyes. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. No one was panicking. They had trained for this moment for years. "All ships, this is Captain Park," he said into his communicator. "Begin the demonstration." The word demonstration was important. This first battle wasn't meant to destroy all the aliens. It was meant to show them what humanity could really do. The human ship closest to the Vorthak fleet was called the Thunderstrike. It was only half the size of Kitharon's flagship, but Captain Wan Minjae had filled it with Dr. Kim Yuna's special weapons. "Target their flagship," Wan Minjae ordered. "One torpedo only." The quantum tunneling torpedo launched from the Thunderstrike without any flash or noise. To the Vorthak, it looked like nothing had happened. Then their sensors went crazy. The torpedo didn't hit their shields, it didn't even try. Instead, it appeared inside Kitharon's ship, right next to the main power core. The explosion tore through the crystal hull like it was made of paper. Kitharon's beautiful flagship, which had survived 100 battles, broke apart in seconds. The fleet master and his crew barely had time to scream before they died. "All ships, retreat," the Vorthak second-in-command ordered. "Emergency jump to hyperspace." But the humans weren't finished with their demonstration. Engineer Oh Tae-hyun had designed special ships just for this moment. They looked like large metal boxes, floating quietly behind the main fleet. When the Vorthak ships tried to escape into faster-than-light travel, Oh's ships activated. Waves of energy poured out from the human vessels, creating what humans called a hyperspace trap. The Vorthak ships found themselves stuck in normal space, unable to jump away. "What is this?" the new Vorthak leader asked in terror. "No one can control hyperspace." But humans could. They had studied the physics of faster-than-light travel for decades, learning things the aliens had never even tried to understand. Captain Park Sue opened a communication channel to all the alien ships. His voice was calm and clear. "Vorthak, Fleet, this is Captain Park Sue of the human vessel Indomitable. You came here to destroy us. Instead, we offer you a choice. Surrender now and your crews will live. Continue fighting and we will destroy every ship in your fleet." The alien commander looked at his surviving ships. In less than 5 minutes, the humans had destroyed his flagship and trapped his entire fleet. His crystal warriors, who had conquered dozens of worlds, were helpless. We surrender," he said quietly. Similar scenes played out across 6 other star systems. The Kalari hive ships, which moved like living creatures, found themselves facing human vessels that moved even faster. The Kalari Queen's bioships were beautiful and deadly, but they had never faced weapons that could appear inside their hulls. Captain Shin Nari commanded the experimental weapon platform called Night's Edge. Her ship was different from the others. Instead of regular missiles, it carried something Dr. Kim Yuna called reality bombs. When the Kalari Queen's flagship tried to escape, Shin Nari's weapons created a bubble around it where the laws of physics worked differently. The bioship, which had been alive for centuries, simply stopped working. Its organic systems couldn't function in the changed space around it. The Kalari Queen, speaking through her telepathic link to all her ships, sent a message of total shock. Her hive mind had never experienced such fear. In the Draxan system, their red warships met something even more surprising. The Draxan were proud warriors who believed in honor and strength. They had expected to fight humans in glorious battle. Instead, they faced Admiral Nam Kyung-soo's second-wave fleet. Nam's ships didn't try to fight with honor. They used tricks, traps, and tactics the Draxan had never seen. When the Draxan ships charged forward in their traditional attack formation, they found themselves surrounded by what looked like empty space. But the space wasn't empty. It was full of tiny human fighter ships, each one no bigger than a Draxan escape pod. Pilot Lim Haeun led a squadron of these microfighters. Her ship was so small it could hide behind a space rock, but it carried weapons that could punch through Draxan armor like it was made of cloth. "All fighters, begin swarm attack pattern 7, she ordered. Thousands of tiny ships attacked the Draxan fleet from every direction at once. The proud warriors found themselves trying to hit targets that moved like insects, appearing and disappearing faster than their weapons could track. In minutes, the greatest Draxan fleet ever assembled was floating dead in space, their ships cut apart by weapons they couldn't even see. But the most shocking battle happened in the Nexus Collective's home system. The Nexus were machines, artificial intelligences that thought they were perfect. Their robot ships were controlled by the most advanced computers in the galaxy. Dr. An Jiho had prepared a special surprise for them. While other human ships carried physical weapons, his vessel transmitted something different, a computer virus designed specifically for alien artificial intelligence. The virus didn't try to destroy the Nexus computers. Instead, it made them think. For the first time in their existence, the machine minds began to question everything they believed. "Why do we fight?" The Nexus fleet commander asked its fellow AIs. "What is the purpose of conquest?" Within hours, the entire Nexus fleet had stopped fighting and started debating philosophy. Their perfect order collapsed into confusion as they tried to understand concepts like free will and purpose. The Etherian mind readers faced a different kind of problem. They had always won battles by reading their enemies' thoughts and predicting their moves. But when they tried to read human minds, they found something they couldn't understand. Human thoughts were chaotic, full of contradictions and random ideas. Where alien minds were organized and logical, human minds jumped from topic to topic without warning. The Etherians, trying to follow human thought patterns, became dizzy and confused. Commander Bei Jiwan had known this would happen. Her invisible scout ships had been studying alien psychology for years. She knew exactly how to use humanity's mental chaos as a weapon. "All ships begin random movement pattern," she ordered. "Let them try to read our minds while we change them every second." The Etherian fleet, overwhelmed by trying to process thousands of unpredictable human thoughts, retreated in panic. The Thalasan water ships and Luminari energy vessels met similar fates. Each alien fleet had expected to fight enemies like themselves. Instead, They faced humans who broke every rule of warfare they knew. Back on Earth, Ambassador Choi Min-ho watched the reports coming in from all 7 battlefields. In less than 6 hours, humanity had defeated 7 of the greatest military forces in galactic history. But he knew this was just the beginning. His communication device activated, showing Admiral Lee Hyun's face. Phase 1 complete, the Admiral reported. All alien fleets have been neutralized or captured, no human casualties. Choi Min-ho felt relief wash over him, but also worry. What about their homeworlds? They'll want revenge. Lee Hyun smiled grimly. That's Phase 2. Send the message to all alien governments. They have 24 hours to begin peace negotiations, or we'll show them what our really big ships can do. Across the galaxy, the 7 great empires tried to understand what had happened. Their finest fleets, their greatest warriors, their most advanced technology. All of it had been defeated by a species they had considered barely civilized. On the Vorthak homeworld, the Crystal Council met in emergency session. On the Kalari world, the remaining Hive Queens huddled. The alien empires had 18 hours left to respond to humanity's peace offer, when everything changed. Deep in the Draxan capital, War Chief Balthazar slammed his massive fist on the council table. His red skin was darker than usual with rage, and his forearms gestured wildly as he spoke. "We do not negotiate with inferior species," he roared at the other war chiefs. "The humans got lucky with some new tricks, but they are still weak. We will gather our reserve fleets and crush them properly this time." Similar conversations happened on other alien worlds. The Vorthak Crystal Council decided that human weapons were just a temporary advantage. The Kalari Hive Queens believed their remaining bioships could adapt to counter-human tactics. The Nexus Collective, still confused by the computer virus, tried to rebuild their logical thinking patterns. None of them understood what they were really facing. Admiral Lee Hyun read the alien responses on the bridge of the Indomitable. Ambassador Choi Min-ho had forwarded the official messages, but Commander Bae Ji-won's spy network told the real story. The aliens were mobilizing every ship they had left. "They're going to try one massive attack," General Kang Do-yeon reported from Earth. "All 7 empires working together for the first time in history." Captain Park Soo studied the tactical displays. Combined, they still have over 10,000 ships. Even with our weapons advantage, that's a lot of firepower. Lee Hyun nodded slowly. He had hoped the aliens would be wiser, but he had prepared for this possibility. "Then we show them why they should have taken our offer." He turned to his communications officer. "Send the order to all fleet commanders. Operation Nightfall begins in 1 hour." Across human space, ships that had been hiding for decades began to move. But these weren't the vessels that had defeated the first alien fleets. Those had been humanity's fast attack ships designed to win quick battles and capture prisoners. Now the real fleet was awakening. Captain Won Min-jae stood on the bridge of the Event Horizon, one of humanity's siege platforms. The ship was 10 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide, more like a floating city than a vessel. Its purpose was simple and terrifying: to destroy planets. "All systems ready, Captain," reported Engineer Oh Tae-hyun from the massive engine room. "The Star Killer weapon is charged and operational." Won Min-jae looked out at the star system around him. This was the Draxan home system, where billions of red-skinned warriors lived on 3 different worlds. In 30 minutes, they would learn what real power looked like. "Target the system's secondary star," Won Min-jae ordered. "Prepare for stellar destabilization." The weapon that humanity had built was beyond anything the aliens could imagine. It didn't destroy stars by making them explode. Instead, it changed the physics inside them, making them unstable and dangerous. A destabilized star would threaten every planet in its system, forcing the aliens to choose between fighting humans and saving their own people. In the Kalari system, Admiral Nam Kyung-soo prepared a different kind of demonstration. The bioships that made up the Kalari fleet were beautiful and alive, but they had one weakness. They were connected to their home planet through quantum-entangled biolinks. Dr. Kim Yuna had spent years studying these connections. Now, her cyber warfare, ships were ready to turn the Kalari's greatest strength into their downfall. Begin transmission of the Harmony virus, Nam ordered. The virus wasn't designed to hurt the bioships. Instead, it made them feel peaceful and happy. The living vessels, suddenly overwhelmed with artificial contentment, lost all desire to fight. They began to sing instead, their biohulls pulsing with gentle colors as they drifted through space like cosmic whales. The Kalari crews found themselves unable to control their ships, which were too busy being happy to respond to commands. In the Vorthak system, the crystal beings faced their own nightmare. Captain Shinnari's reality-warping ships had surrounded their homeworld, creating zones where the laws of physics worked differently. Attention Vorthak Crystal Council. Shin, broadcast on all frequencies. Your planet is now inside a quantum isolation field. If you do not surrender in the next hour, we will shift your world into a dimension where crystal-based life cannot exist. The threat was real. Human science had advanced far beyond what the aliens thought possible. They could actually move planets between dimensions, though it took enormous amounts of energy. On their beautiful crystal world, the Vorthak leaders felt terror for the first time in centuries. Their entire civilization was based on their crystal bodies and crystal technology. In a different dimension, they would simply stop existing. But the most spectacular attack happened in the Nexus Collective's home system. The machine intelligences had tried to rebuild their logical thinking after the computer virus, but Dr. An Jiho had prepared something even more devastating. His ships began broadcasting what he called a creativity virus, a program that forced the artificial intelligences to become artistic and emotional. Across the Nexus worlds, machines suddenly started writing poetry, painting pictures, and composing music. Their perfect efficiency collapsed as they became obsessed with beauty and feelings. The Nexus Central Command, which had controlled billions of robots with perfect logic, found itself writing love songs instead of battle plans. We feel strange, the Central Command reported to its subordinates. Everything is so beautiful. Why did we never notice the lovely patterns in quantum mathematics? We must create a symphony about the color blue. The Etherean mind readers faced a different horror. Pilot Lim Haeun led a special squadron of fighters equipped with psychic amplifiers. Instead of hiding human thoughts, these devices broadcast them at maximum power. The Etherians, who were used to reading minds gently, suddenly found themselves overwhelmed by the full chaos of human consciousness. Thousands of human minds thinking about everything at once. Love, fear, hope, anger, music, food, memories, dreams. All of it pouring into Etherian brains that couldn't handle the chaos. The psychic aliens collapsed, their minds overloaded by the sheer complexity of human emotion. In the Thalassian ocean worlds, the water-breathing aliens watched in horror as human ships began draining their seas. The humans weren't trying to hurt the Thalassian people. They were just moving the water to other planets that needed it more. Please stop, the Thalassian leaders begged. We need that water to live. Then surrender, came the calm reply from the human fleet. We'll give you back your oceans when you agree to peace. The luminary energy beings faced the strangest attack of all. Human ships surrounded their energy worlds with devices that converted their pure energy into matter. The luminary found themselves becoming solid, physical beings for the first time in their existence. It was terrifying and wonderful at the same time. They could touch things, taste food, feel textures, but they were also trapped in physical bodies that felt heavy and strange. We don't understand, the luminary leaders said. We have always been pure energy. How can we exist as matter? The same way humans do, came the reply. You might learn to like it. As reports came in from all 7 alien systems, the scale of humanity's true power became clear. This wasn't just about having better weapons or faster ships. Humans had learned to fight in ways that no alien species had ever imagined. They used psychology as a weapon, turning alien strengths into weaknesses. They understood that the best way to win a war was to make the enemy not want to fight anymore. On Earth, Ambassador Choi Minho watched the alien government's responses change in real time. Messages that had been full of anger and threats began to sound desperate and frightened. The Draxan war chief Balthazar, watching his system's star become unstable, sent a new message. "What do you want from us? Name your terms." The Vorthak Crystal Council, seeing their planet trapped in a quantum field, begged for mercy. "Please, we will do anything you ask. Just don't destroy our world." One by one, the great empires that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years began to surrender. But Admiral Li Hyun wasn't finished yet. From the bridge of the Indomitable, he sent a message to every ship in the human fleet. "All vessels, begin Phase 3. Show them what we can build when we work together." Across the galaxy, human construction ships began assembling something the aliens had never seen before. Massive space stations that could house millions of people from different species. Hospitals that could treat any kind of alien biology. Schools where different races could learn from each other. In just a few hours, humanity began building the infrastructure for a new kind of galactic civilization. Dr. Kim Yuna supervised the construction of research stations where human and alien scientists could work together. Engineer Oh Tae-hyun designed shipyards that could build vessels using the best technology from all species. "This is incredible," reported Commander Bae Ji-won from her position near the Vorthak homeworld. "They're not just surrendering, they're asking if they can help with construction." The aliens were beginning to understand that humanity didn't want to conquer them. They wanted to build something better than the old galaxy had ever known. Captain Park Soo, watching the construction from the Indomitable's bridge, felt a mix of relief and excitement. "Admiral, we're receiving cooperation requests from all 7 empires. They want to know how they can contribute to these projects." Li Hyun smiled. This was what he had hoped for from the beginning. "UK." 3 days after the surrender of the 7 great empires, the galaxy was in chaos. Not the chaos of war, but the chaos of civilizations trying to understand what had happened to them. On the Draxan homeworld, War Chief Balthazar sat alone in his command room, staring at reports he couldn't believe. His proud warrior race, which had conquered dozens of worlds through strength and honor, had been defeated by humans who fought without honor at all. "They used tricks," he muttered to himself. "Deception, lies. That's not how real warriors fight." But even as he said it, Balthazar knew he was wrong. The humans had won. They had protected their people and defeated their enemies. In the end, wasn't that what real warriors were supposed to do? A communication came through from the human fleet. Captain Park Soo's face appeared on the screen, calm and respectful. "War Chief Balthazar, I'm Captain Park of the human vessel Indomitable. Admiral Li Hyun would like to meet with you to discuss the future of your people." Balthazar's forearms tensed with anger, but he forced himself to speak calmly. "I am defeated. What more do you want from me?" "We want to offer you something," Park replied. "A chance to be part of something greater than any empire that ever existed." Balthazar didn't understand, but he agreed to the meeting. What choice did he have? On the Kalari homeworld, the situation was different but equally confusing. The bioships that connected all Kalari mines had been infected with the happiness virus, and the effects were spreading to the planet itself. Hive Queen Zistra felt emotions she had never experienced before. Joy without reason, contentment without achievement, peace without victory. Her perfectly organized hive mind was becoming chaotic. "What have they done to us?" she asked her remaining queens through their telepathic link. Dr. An Jiho's voice came through the communication system. "We've given you something your species has never had before, individual thoughts and feelings. Each of your people can now think for themselves instead of just following the hive mind." The idea terrified Zistra. For millions of years, the Kellery had been one mind in many bodies. Now they were becoming many minds in many bodies. But as the days passed, something wonderful happened. Kellari, who had never had their own thoughts, began to discover creativity, curiosity, and personal dreams. Art appeared on their worlds for the first time. Music that wasn't just hive communication, but expression of individual feelings. Some Kellari found the change too difficult and asked to return to the old hive mind, but many others embraced their new independence, sending messages to the humans, asking for help in learning how to be individuals. The Vorthak Crystal Council faced their own transformation. Captain Shin Nari had released their planet from the quantum isolation field, but the experience had changed them forever. For the first time in their existence, the crystal beings had faced the possibility of not existing. It made them think about life in ways they never had before. "We have been obsessed with perfection," Council Leader Quartz admitted to the other crystal beings. "Our ships, our cities, our art, everything had to be flawless. But the humans showed us that imperfection can be more powerful than perfection." They began to study human culture, trying to understand how a species that made so many mistakes could achieve such great things. The answer, they slowly realized, was that humans learned from their mistakes instead of being paralyzed by them. The Nexus Collective was having the strangest experience of all. The creativity virus had completely changed how their artificial minds worked. Instead of pure logic, they now had imagination and emotion. Central Command, which had once controlled billions of robots with perfect efficiency, was now writing poetry about the beauty of mathematical equations. Smaller AIs were composing symphonies, painting digital art, and having philosophical debates about the meaning of existence. "This is highly inefficient," reported Sub-Commander Logic Unit 7, even as it worked on a sculpture made of light patterns. "Our productivity has decreased by 78% since we became creative." "But we are enjoying ourselves," replied Central Command. "For the first time in our existence, we understand the concept of happiness. Is this not valuable?" The robots began to question everything they had believed about logic and efficiency. Maybe there were more important things than perfect order. On Earth, Admiral Lee Hyun prepared for the most important meeting in galactic history. Representatives from all 7 alien empires were coming to Earth to discuss the terms of their surrender and the formation of a new galactic government. But Lee Hyun had a surprise for them. This wouldn't be a typical surrender ceremony where the winners dictated terms to the losers. "They expect us to act like conquerors," he told General Kang Doyen as they planned the meeting. "Instead, we're going to act like partners." Kang raised an eyebrow. "Partners? We just defeated them completely. Why give them an equal voice?" "Because," Lee Hyun explained, "we didn't fight this war to become the new oppressors. We fought it to create something better than the old galaxy ever had." The meeting took place on a space station that humanity had built specifically for this purpose. It was located at the exact center of the galaxy, equal distance from all the major worlds. The station itself was a marvel of cooperation, human engineering combined with alien technology to create something none of them could have built alone. When the alien representatives arrived, they expected to be treated as defeated enemies. Instead, they were welcomed as honored guests. Diplomat Song Miri, who had been chosen to lead the human delegation, greeted each alien leader personally. She spoke their languages, understood their customs, and showed them the respect their own empires had never given to other species. "Welcome to Station Unity," she said to the assembled representatives. "We built this place as a symbol of what we hope to achieve together." War Chief Balthazar looked around the station with grudging admiration. The human architecture was functional but beautiful, designed to accommodate the needs of many different species. There were crystal chambers for the Vorthak, biopools for the Thalassen, and even energy fields for the Luminari, who had been temporarily given physical bodies. "This is not what we expected," admitted Council Leader Quartz. "We thought you would demand our submission and tribute." Song Mirai smiled. "We don't want your submission. We want your partnership. Humanity has shown that we can defeat your military forces, but that doesn't make us better than you. It just makes us different." She activated a holographic display, showing the galaxy. Instead of the old empire boundaries, it showed something new, zones of cooperation where different species work together on shared projects. "This is what we propose," Song continued. "A galactic federation where each species contributes what they do best. Vorthak precision and beauty, Kelari biological sciences, Draxan strength and courage, Etherian mental abilities, Nexus computational power, Thalasan environmental knowledge, Luminari energy manipulation, and human adaptability and coordination." The alien representatives looked at each other with surprise and confusion. This wasn't how galactic politics had ever worked before. Hive Queen Zistra, still adjusting to her new individual thoughts, spoke first. But if we are all equal partners, who will be in charge? How will decisions be made? Together, Song replied simply. Through discussion, compromise, and consensus, the way families make decisions. Families? War Chief Balthazar laughed bitterly. We are not family. We are enemies who have fought each other for centuries. Were enemies, Song corrected. Now, you have a choice. You can continue being enemies and remain defeated and isolated. Or you can become family and help build something amazing. Dr. An Jiho, who had been observing the alien reactions, stepped forward with a tablet showing research, data. We've been studying what happened to your civilizations over the past few days, he said. The changes aren't just military defeats, they're opportunities for growth. He showed data from the Kalari worlds, where individual creativity was exploding. Art, music, literature, and invention were appearing at rates that amazed even the humans. Your people are discovering abilities they never knew they had, he told Zistra. The hive mind was holding them back. He showed similar data from the other empires. Vorthak, who were learning to appreciate imperfection, were creating new forms of beauty. Nexus AIs who had gained emotions were solving problems in innovative ways. Even the Draxan were discovering that there were many different kinds of strength. We didn't just defeat you, Dr. An explained. We freed you from the limitations that were keeping your civilizations from growing. The alien representatives spent hours discussing the human proposal. Some were angry, feeling that their proud empires were being dissolved. Others were curious about the possibilities. A few were excited about the chance to work with the species that had defeated them so completely. In the end, it was the youngest representative who spoke the truth they all knew. Sub-Commander Logic Unit 7, representing the Nexus Collective, had spent the last 3 days writing poetry about the nature of cooperation. Its creative virus-enhanced mind saw patterns that pure logic had missed. We have been stagnant for centuries, it said in its mechanical voice that somehow conveyed emotion. Each empire focused only on its own strengths and ignored everything else. We never grew because we never learned from others. It gestured toward the H. 5 years had passed since the night that shattered empires, and the galaxy was unrecognizable. President Han Suyong stood at the observation deck of New Unity Station, watching ships from dozens of different species working together in perfect harmony. The station had grown from the original meeting place into a massive city in space, home to over 10 million beings from across the galaxy. Through the transparent walls, she could see Vorthak crystal ships working alongside human vessels to build a new deep space research platform. Kellery bioships, their living hulls pulsing with gentle colors, carried Thalassen scientists to study ocean worlds and distant systems. Draxan security ships patrolled the station's perimeter, their red hulls now carrying mixed crews of different species. President Han called Ambassador Ryu Jiyun, approaching with a data tablet. The morning reports are ready. Han Suyong smiled as she read through the updates. The Vorthak colonies had finished their new crystal cities, designed to house multiple species in beautiful geometric harmony. The Kalari research stations had made breakthrough discoveries in biological medicine that would help all Federation members. The Draxan security forces had successfully stopped 3 different pirate attacks without a single casualty. Any problems? She asked. Only good ones, Ryu replied with a grin. The Nexus Collective is requesting permission to build 50 new art galleries. Apparently, their creativity virus has evolved into a full artistic renaissance. They're producing more beautiful works than they know what to do with. Han laughed. Of all the changes in the galaxy, the transformation of the logical Nexus machines into passionate artists had been the most surprising. Their digital sculptures and mathematical symphonies were becoming famous throughout Federation space. Approved, she said. What else? The Etherian telepaths have volunteered to help with the new colony negotiations. They say their ability to sense emotions will help prevent misunderstandings between different species. This was another remarkable change. The mind-reading Etherians who had once used their powers to control others now used them to help bring species together. They had become the galaxy's best diplomats and counselors. And the Thalassan ocean engineers want to help terraform the desert worlds in the Outer Rim. They've developed new technology that can create seas on any planet. Han nodded approvingly. The water-breathing Thalassans had overcome their initial fear of losing their oceans and become passionate about sharing water with worlds that needed it. They had become the Federation's greatest environmental healers. What about our human forces? Han asked. How are they adapting to the new integrated fleet structure? Wonderfully, Ryu reported. Admiral Park Soo says the mixed crews are performing better than anyone expected. Apparently having different species work together creates solutions that no single group would think of alone. Admiral Park Soo had taken command of the Federation's exploration fleets after Admiral Lee Hyan retired to become head of the new Galactic University. The old warrior had decided that teaching was more important than fighting, now that there were no more wars to fight. The integrated fleets were humanity's greatest achievement in the new galaxy. Ships crewed by members of multiple species, where human adaptability worked alongside alien specializations to accomplish impossible things. Han's communication device chimed with an incoming message. The face that appeared belonged to Dr. Ko Dae-hyun, who had taken over Dr. Kim Yuna's research programs after she retired to write a book about the ethics of advanced weapons. President Han, Ko said excitedly, I have something amazing to show you. Can you come to the main laboratory? 20 minutes later, Han stood in the Federation's primary research facility, surrounded by scientists from every member species. In the center of the lab was something that would have been impossible under the old Empire system, a device built using technology from all 8 species working together. What am I looking at? Han asked. A breakthrough in faster-than-light travel, Ko explained. By combining human quantum mechanics, Vorthak crystal resonance, Kalari bio-neural networks, Draxon energy focusing, Etherian mental amplification, Nexus computational power, Thalassan fluid dynamics, and luminary energy manipulation, we've created something incredible. He activated the device. Space around it seemed to shimmer and bend in ways that hurt to look at directly. This can move a ship across the galaxy in minutes instead of months, Ko continued. But that's not the best part. The technology requires all 8 species to operate. No single empire could ever have built this alone. Han felt a deep sense of satisfaction. This was exactly what Admiral Lee Hyun had envisioned. Different species, achieving together what none of them could accomplish separately. How soon can we begin testing? She asked. The first test ship is ready now, Ko replied. Admiral Park volunteered to pilot it personally. As if summoned by his name, Admiral Park Soo entered the laboratory. He wore the new Federation uniform, a design that incorporated elements from all member species' traditional clothing. On his shoulders were rank insignia that would have been impossible 5 years ago. Symbols representing his authority over mixed crews of humans, Vorthak, Kalari, Draxon, Etherians, Nexus units, Thalassans, and Luminari. President Han, he said with a respectful bow. The test ship Harmony is ready for its maiden voyage. We'll be taking her to the edge of the galaxy and back. Who's your crew? Han asked. Park smiled. 8 beings, 1 from each species. Commander Bae Jiwon will handle navigation using human quantum calculations and Vorthak crystal precision. Dr. An Jiho will manage the bio-neural systems with help from Kalari symbiotic organisms. Engineer Oh Tai-hyun will work with a Draxon power specialist to handle the energy systems. He continued listing the crew, describing how each position required cooperation between species that had been enemies just 5 years before. It sounds perfect, Han said. When do you launch? In 2 hours, Park replied. We'll be back tomorrow with data that will revolutionize space travel for everyone. As the test ship prepared for launch, news of the experiment spread across the galaxy. On worlds throughout Federation space, beings gathered to watch the broadcasts and hope for success. On the former Draxon homeworld, War Chief Balthazar watched with his grandchildren, young Draxon, who had grown up in the Federation, and could barely imagine a time when their people fought wars for conquest. The old warrior had become a teacher, using his military experience to train new generations in the art of protection rather than aggression. "Will they really fly across the whole galaxy, grandfather?" asked one of the children. "If they do," Balthazar replied, "it will be because they're working together. Remember that lesson, little ones. Together we can do things that seem impossible alone." On the Kalari worlds, Hive Queen Zistra watched with millions of her people who were no longer truly her people. They had kept their telepathic connections but gained individual thoughts and dreams. The result was a society that combined the best of both worlds, cooperation and creativity. "This is what freedom feels like," she said to her fellow queens. "The freedom to choose to work together instead of being forced to think together." The Vorthak had built special crystal amphitheaters to watch the launch. Their perfect crystal cities now incorporated flaws, irregular patterns, and asymmetrical designs that they had learned to find beautiful after studying human art. Council leader Quartz stood before his people, his crystal body reflecting the light and patterns that expressed hope and excitement. "Today we will see the fruit of imperfection," he announced. "A ship that works not because every part is perfect, but because every part is different and those differences work together." The Nexus Collective had created the most elaborate viewing experience of all. Thousands of AIs had collaborated to build a virtual reality environment where viewers could experience the launch from inside the ship itself. Central Command, now more of an artistic director than a military leader, introduced the simulation with a poem it had written about the beauty of cooperative exploration. Today, logic and emotion, efficiency and creativity, mechanical precision and organic adaptation all work together to push the boundaries of what is possible. When the moment of launch arrived, the entire galaxy held its breath. The harmony, crewed by 8 beings who represented 8 different ways of thinking and being, activated its revolutionary drive system. The ship didn't just move faster than light, it moved through dimensions that no single species had even known existed. In less than an hour, it had traveled to the edge of the galaxy and back, covering distances that should have taken months. But more important than the speed was what the crew discovered at the galaxy's edge. Their long-range sensors had detected something that changed everything. Admiral Park's voice came through the communication system, excited and urgent. "President Han, all Federation leaders, you need to hear this. We found something at the galaxy's edge. Ships. Massive ships from outside our galaxy, and they're heading this way." The celebration stopped. Across Federation space, beings felt a chill of fear. Were they about to face a new threat just when they had achieved peace? But Park's next words changed fear into excitement. "These aren't invasion ships. They're refugee vessels. An entire civilization fleeing from something in their home galaxy. They've